Let's watch a couple clips of Fox News as I think it's really important while we try to grow our own media environment while, calling out Trump for the next 4 years and his lies, that we also stay on top of calling out the main players in this misinformation machine on the right. So we're doing that today, starting with the head of the snake, Hannity himself.
By the way, did Google ever hear of Bud Light? Did they not watch what happened to Bud Light? Did they not watch the rise of Modelo beer?
I wanted to start with this clip just super briefly because it really gives the game away of the true bigotry that exists on the right, where Bud Light sent a beer to a trans person and conservatives literally boycotted this until Bud Light reversed course. There was I think Kid Rock was shooting beer cans with a gun or something. I mean, they never sponsored a trans person, never did anything with her, never came out pro-trans, never put a rainbow on the cans. They literally just sent her one can. Now with Google had a non-binary influencer in an ad. It was an ad about Christmas that had nothing to do with their identity or gender. They weren't it's a non-binary ad, it's nothing to do with trans people. But of course, them being non-binary is enough that the right is furious, which, as I said, it kind of just gives the game away here as the right tries to say, we don't hate or judge anyone. I mean, just don't push it on children or shove it down our throats. What they really mean by this is don't let trans people exist in society where I have to see or ever interact with them. I mean, at the point you're upset just because a trans person got an opportunity that had nothing to do with their identity, they're literally just existing and having success as an actor, and that's enough to enrage you, you might just be a bigot.
Aren't you sick of a government run by politicians, professors, and economists? People with no real life experience. They don't know how things work. This time is different. We're bringing in men and women who know how to create things from scratch and build stuff within a budget. And if they don't get results, get fired. This is the most real American cabinet the country's ever seen. Elon Musk says we're about to experience the most dramatic transformation since the nation's founding. What a lucky time to be alive.
I don't get what this sort of idea he's trying to push here, that people with degrees, professional experience, qualifications, well, they're just not real people who don't even have real experience and can't relate to you and your things. What we need leading things is an everyman. Who cares if he doesn't know how to code and we need him to disarm a nuke? At least he understands the working people. No, I'm going to take the people who actually know what they're doing to be in charge. There's a reason for that. And this battle against intellectualism is super dangerous coming from the right. And it's also kind of weird how just recently MAGA switched from their hyper obsession with qualifications, having to check every black person to make sure that they went to a prestigious school with a prestigious degree and scored higher than white people on their testing and all of these qualifications. But now it's just dude, qualifications, degrees, you think those matter? No, we just need real people, which is also weird considering Trump's cabinet is full of billionaires who can't actually relate to a single person in the working class, nor do they have to know how to budget. So I don't get what he's saying with that either. I mean, when you can get away with bankrupting businesses and, losing $100,000 in an investment is chump change to you, you can just laugh that off. Budgeting doesn't matter. And you definitely can't relate to those of us who cry over losing $10. Our small business director, the person Kelly Loeffler that Trump has appointed to take over in his administration, she's a billionaire who married into that money. How is she relatable to someone who's making $50,000 a year and wants to try and start a business off of the profits of their own labor? Somebody explain to me how Trump has the relatable working man cabinet. Please.
Tyrus and I are suspicious of men who announce that they're feminists.
Yes.
That either tells me they are trying to get lucky. Mm-hmm. It either tells me that they're hiding something really disgraceful in their past they did to a woman.
Preach.
Or they're not real men.
Facts.
Do you want to be a man who's a leader of women, or do you want to be a man who's a leader of men?
Leader of men.
I want to be a man who's a leader of men. He's trying to be a leader of women.
Hey, yo, I mean, I did not know Jesse Waters was a misogynist to this degree. I mean, he literally just gave the entire game away, whether consciously or subconsciously, about the way that he views women, didn't he? To him, he's saying, I mean, these are his words, you can only be nice to a woman because you're trying to have sex with her. You want them to forgive you for something horrible that you did to them, or you're just not a real man. There's no other reasons. If you believe in feminism, which is literally just the belief that women should be treated equal, it has to be because of one of those things and not just because I don't know, you have the same respect for women as you do anyone else. Maybe you don't like, you weren't rejected by women your entire childhood and it turned you into this like anime villain arc that just hates women. I mean, maybe you see things like the gender pay gap where women in the same positions as men with the same experience working the same hours get paid less. And maybe you think those things are unfair. Or maybe you notice things like how Trump cheated on his wife and nobody cares, did it with a porn star at that, or I'm pretty sure he cheated on his last wife with his next wife. Like it has a history of this kind of womanizing behavior. Literally said like grab her by the feet, all of this, right? Men just applaud him for that. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has a consensual relationship 20 years before she gets into politics, and it's, oh, she's sleeping her way to the top. It's heels up Harris. And maybe you see these things and you realize it's kind of like an unfair standard that like a man and a woman are being held here to just because of their sex life. But of course, if you realize these things, you can't be a real man. You're a beta, you're a soy, you're whatever the word is right now, right? Because a real man is obviously too busy like bench pressing 350 as his warm up and telling his woman to make him a sandwich to have any empathy towards her or women in general or their livelihoods and the way that they get